So for the first question, I calculated the time required for 2120 to arrive at midnight. So the difference is actually 2 hours and 40 minutes, whereas for midnight to arrive at 6:15 a.m. it took 6 hours and 15 minutes. Hence the total will actually be 8 hours and 55. Whereby for question 2, pretty straightforward. Okay, triangle ABN is congruent to triangle ACN. If you happen to not understand what's the definition of congruent, I've attached a definition over there. Whereby for part 3, okay, this, if we were to draw a line, it will show a downward sloping ones. So the correlation of it will actually be negatively correlated. But for part 4, okay, answer in standard form. The things that I did was I converted 9.6 times 10 to the power of 6 into 0.96 times 10 to the power of 7. Okay, then I add them both up to arrive at 7.36 times 10 to the power of 7. For part 5, expand. Okay, key assessment of this is how do you treat the bracket. So you are required to multiply 3x to 2x and also 3x to 9. Okay, negative 7 multiplied by 2x and negative 7 multiplied by 9. So the final results will actually be 6x squared plus 13x minus 63. Question 6. The bearing of A from B is 227. So the key things you need to take note is if you were to draw a line over there, the value will actually be 180 degrees and the balance will be 47. So for you to find bearing of B from A, okay, simply utilize the information of 47. Okay, then your final answer will be 047. It's because for bearing, for value that's less than 100, you're required to add a 0 at the front. Question 7, inversely proportional. So inversely proportional is the keyword. So your formula will goes by y equals to k over x cubed. So substitute the value of x and y into it to identify k's value as 4. So your final answer will be y equals to 4 over x cubed. Whereby for question 8, so you're required to find the rounding values of variables involved first. So for the 6,000 milliliters of oil, it is rounded to nearest 100 milliliter. So the rounding value will actually be plus minus 50. She uses the oil to fill a bottle, each hold exactly 50 ml. Okay, so find the numbers of bottles she can fill. So your 6,000 is required to plus 50, okay, because the highest possible value. Then divide it by 50, you will arrive at 121 bottles. Question 9. Jan invests 800 at a 3% simple interest. So the key assessment of this question is the keyword value. So value is actually the capital itself plus interest earned. Okay, so your formulas will goes by 800 times 4 times 3%. Then you're required to add in the 800, which is the capital. So total value now will be 896 after 4 years. Question 10. Okay, so the key things you need to know is that 1000 cm cubed is actually equivalent to 1 liter. So you're required to change the 1.5 meters and 1 meters into cm first. Multiply all the values together. 150 multiplied by 100, multiplied by 60, divide by 1000, then you will arrive at 900 liters. So for question 11 part A, as you can see, the term by term difference is positive 3. So simply take 20 plus 3, then you will end up with positive 23. For you to construct the n term sequence, you actually need to find the zero term. So by taking our first term, which is 8, minus by 3, you will end up with our zero term of 5. So your formula will goes by 5 plus 3n. For question 12, so we're required to split these inequalities into two parts, okay, which is 15 less than equals to 4n. Okay, n is actually more than equals to 3.75. Whereby for the next part, it will be 4n less than 28. So n will actually be less than 7. So the next assessment is the term integer. Integer is value that doesn't have decimals. So from n more than 3.75 and n less than 7, you will identify the integer's value as 4, 5, and 6. So for 13 part A, construct a locus of point inside the triangle that are equidistant from AB and BC. So actually use the compass to construct a straight line over there that split angle ABC into half. Then for part B, part 1, more than 6.5 cm from C, then I constructed a arc based on that information, and nearer to BA than BC. So the part at the top is the shaded region. So for question 14, pretty straightforward, so I won't do any voiceover stuff for this part. Okay, all I did was to change the mixed numbers of 2, 1 over 4 into 9 over 4 first. Okay, then do the shifting and identify the final answer as 1 over 6. But for question 15, okay, I first changed their denominator into the same, which is 3 bracket x plus 2. So for the value of x minus 5, I multiply it by x plus 2, whereby for the value of 6, I multiply it by 3. So by running a calculation, you will arrive at the final answer of x squared minus 3x plus 8 over 3 bracket x plus 2. So for question 16, based on all the information given, I identify that ACB is actually equals to x and BAC is equals to LCA, which is 56. So with that being said, okay, I can now first identify x value by taking the triangle ABC for a calculation. So 2x plus 56 equals to 180. X value will actually be 62. So for us to identify angle's y value, simply add x by 56. Then you will end up with 118. So for question 17, this is actually a indices question. Okay, so when the base is the same, which is t in our case, their power will be add up to each other. So t to the power of x plus 2 equals to t to the power of 10. So x plus 2 equals to 10, x final results will be 8. So for part B number 1, simply multiply the power of negative 2 into both of the variables. Then you will get 4 to the power of negative 2 over x to the power of negative 2. So by running the shifting, by swapping their place, then you will get x squared over 16 as the final answer. Whereby for part B number 2, divide when it comes to variables that has the same base, it will become minus of. So we get 2 to the power of 3 minus 6 and b to the power of 7 minus 2. So results will be a to the power of negative 3, b to the power of 5. So by taking a to the power of negative 3 to our denominator, your final results will actually be b to the power of 5 over a to the power of 3. Question 18, this is actually a simultaneous equation. I've actually listed down the step-by-step on how to obtain x and y's value. You can just refer to it, and if you happen to have question, feel free to leave your comment down in the comment section. For question 19, okay, this is actually pretty straightforward. You can solve this by using the quadratic formula, okay, which goes by negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, your a's value will actually be 3, your b's value will be 7, and your c's value will be negative 11. So after you run the calculation, you get two results, which is 1.08 or negative 3.41. Question 20. A and B is actually matrices question. I actually list down the step-by-step on how to solve it. Same thing, if you have any question about it, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. So for question 21A, the original amount invested. So for this question, you actually need to identify where that it started off, okay, which is at the value of 20. Part 2, the keyword double. So for your original amount to double, it's actually 40. So from 40, you draw it down, you will identify that it took 14 years for the 20 to double up. Okay, the value of the investment after 54 years. So at the year 54, okay, I drew it out from the line. You will get the value of investment as 280. Part B, which is a tricky one. Okay, use your information in part A, 1 and 2 to write down the equation in terms of R. So 20, which is the capital, times 100 plus R bracket percent to the power of 14 years equals to 40. Okay, so the keyword here, do not solve the equation. Okay, so simply write down this formula, then you will secure the 2 marks over there. Question 22. So this is actually a probability question. First thing that I identified was there was 200 people. So they wanted to choose people that might be going to Paris or Tokyo. So simply add Paris and Tokyo up, okay, divide by 200. So you will get the probability as 47 over 100. So for part B, 2 persons are chosen at random from the group of 200. Find the probability that one person would like to visit London next, and the person would like to visit New York next. So key things here is they didn't specify like who must come first. Hence, I need to make 2 scenarios whereby one of them that I chose goes London, followed by New York, and New York followed by London. Okay, so remember to decrease the total value after you selected one of them. So it is 550 over 200 times 56 over 199 plus 56 over 200 times 50 over 199. So the answer in percentage will actually be 14.07. So for question 23A, okay, after you run the function calculation, you actually get 3 to the power of 3x equals to kx. So simply multiply 3 to the power of 3, then you get 27 to the power of x. So k's value will actually be 27. Whereby for part B, so your fx value will actually be 7 plus 3x, and your g bracket 2 value will actually be 2 to the power of 4. So after the calculation, you will get x results as 3. So for part C, you actually need to identify the f inverse by using the original fx, which is 7 plus 3 in our case. So I changed the fx into y. So we now have y equals to 7 plus 3x. I swap the x and y's position. Okay, then I rearrange it and identify the new y, which is y equals to x minus 7 over 3. So this results will actually be the inverse function of f. So thank you for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If you happen to have friends that struggling to solving all this past year, feel free to share this video to them. So thank you.